Next up on Man vs Pixels, I've been playing the Wolfensteins. When I say the Wolfensteins, I'm talking about the two new, or well, not so new really now, but the two rebooted Wolfensteins that have been out for a few years now. The first one being Wolfenstein The New Order, and the sequel Wolfenstein II New Colossus. The first one, The New Order, was out in 2014, so yeah, not so new. And the second one, New Colossus, the sequel, was out in 2017. So yeah, they've both been out quite a while now. So, but they're new to me. I've had them on my Steam library for a while. I think they were in a nice little bundled sale once, where you could pick them up for very little cash. So I bought them, and I've just sort of played them both kind of back to back, just gone through both of them quite quickly. The first one, New Order, I played for like 10 hours, completed it. The second one, New Colossus, I played for like 7 hours, didn't quite complete it, but I got what I wanted out of it, I think. So let's get into it. They are set in 1960, and you play the character BJ Blazkowicz, which you played in pretty much all the other Wolfensteins, as far as I remember. The Nazis have won the Second World War, and you wake up from a period of being in kind of a mental institution and kind of being trapped in your body. And it's 1960, the Nazis have won the Second World War and have pretty much gone on to world domination, including America. They nuked America and then rolled over it and took over. So they've got all this crazy tech, Nazi super soldiers, Nazi mechs, and you have woken up, and pretty soon you form or join what is left of the resistance trying to fight against them. And there's your plot right there. You are BJ Blazkowicz, Nazi resistance fighter. The missions and levels are familiar sort of linear design. You start off, you advance, kill some Nazis, advance some more, kill some Nazis, and repeat. The levels sometimes end with like a harder enemy or a boss that's story derived from the story. The boss, maybe like one of the characters you've been hearing about. Maybe just a harder enemy in a sort of a suit, a mech you haven't seen before that you have to work out how to kill. But there's not really much to killing the enemies, to be honest. There's no sort of weak point mechanics or anything like that. You just have to pump enough of the right ammunition into the enemies to kill them, which is pretty much the same for the whole game through. Pump enough bullets or shotgun rounds or grenades, rockets, and the enemy will go down, and you just have to avoid getting killed. Yeah, so you've got the usual weapons in most first-person shooters like this. You've got pistol, assault rifle, shotgun, DMR, sort of marksman rifle. There's some heavy weapons lying about, like emplaced weapons on tripods and stuff that you can use on the tripod or pull off. If you pull it off, once it's run out of ammo, it's pretty much done. You can only replenish the ammo by putting it back on the tripod, which is usually, by the time you've run out of ammo, you're miles away from where you yanked it off the tripod anyway, so they just are disposable once you've run the ammo down off them. And the rest of your weapons are pretty serviceable. The assault rifle and the shotgun are pretty much all you need. You can get most shit done with both of them. You do get like this laser weapon as well, which doubles as a way to cut through certain parts of the environment. You can cut through certain fences and chains, and some advancement in the levels require you to do that, so that's something to always be looking out for. If you're a bit stuck on a level, look for maybe a bit of fence you can cut through with your laser. But your laser's usually pretty good on enemies, big sort of enemies with mech and armor, that sort of thing. And but everything else, the assault rifle and the shotgun, shreds through quite nicely. There is a little sort of perk and upgrade system. You can find weapon upgrade kits around the place, and each one you can attach to a certain one of your weapons. There's 3 sort of slots on each weapon to attach an upgrade kit to, and each one will do something pretty useful. Increase the ammo size, increase its rate of fire. Some of them do something interesting, like change the way the weapon fires entirely, changes it into a different sort of ammunition, something like that. But mostly it's just like, yeah, rate of fire or ammo capacity upgrades. The perk system is kind of what you do, like how you play. If you get like 10 stealth kills, you then get to move faster while crouched. If you get 10 dual wielding kills, you can then carry more ammo. So yeah, I should mention that all the weapons, like the shotgun, the AR and everything, can all be dual wielded as well. So you can go around with a weapon, shotgun in each hand, or actually you can mix and match. You can have a shotgun in one hand, assault rifle in the other, machine pistol in one hand, and assault rifle in the other. You can sort of decide what you want in each hand, which is kind of cool. But generally, yeah, if you want to dual wield, you can do twice the damage, but you also go through ammo at twice the rate. So there's you should be using that on great big targets that you're not going to miss, I'd say. Usually just single wielding weapon is more than enough. So the shooting is decent. It's a bit repetitive in the enemies. They all kind of look the same after a while. It's just various sizes of Nazi super soldier, really. You got the bog standard Nazi in sort of just helmet and stuff and bit of shoulder padding, and then you got like a bigger one in a sort of more of a sort of metal suit, and then you get the big ones in the mechs, and then the sort of boss ones which are like more completely robots by the looks of them. And then you get the odd like you get commanders about, which if you kill the commanders first, that's it, you can just go, you don't get any more enemies. But if you start fighting and the commanders are still alive, they'll start broadcasting alarms and calling more and more enemies in. So that's pretty good actually, because it gives you just more shooting to do. I started by like going out of my way to stealth kill the commanders, but I found if I didn't and they called in more enemies, it wasn't really that much harder, but it was a pretty good fun, you know. You just got a few more waves of Nazis to shoot, which was, you know, quite enjoyable. So yeah, the repetitive enemies and the environments are a little bit repetitive as well. It's mostly indoors. You don't see much of like the outside world after these Nazis have taken over. You see a little bit, but not much. Most of your environments, most of your levels are just a different Nazi base or a different Nazi lab in a different part of the world, and you know, you're told it's a different part of the world and you sort of travel there, but once you're inside it could be anywhere, you know. So you do, you know, it might be in Berlin, or it might be in New York, or it might be on the moon, but once you're inside it's just another Nazi lab, another Nazi base. It's a shame you don't see more of the outside world, because that could have been a more interesting part of it. So yeah, the shooting is decent. It's let down by some really hokey and cliched dialogue and script writing. Some of it's pretty cringe-worthy. I think some of the worst sort of dialogue and script writing is for your main character, BJ Blazkowicz. Some of the stuff he says is really awful. It's just like, and oh, his voice as well. I mean, no disrespect to the voice actor, because he's doing the job he was told to do probably, but it's like that cliched, husky action movie trailer voiceover, you know. It really kind of gets grating after a while, when he's got this annoying habit of like having an internal monologue with himself while he's not even talking to another character. He's just kind of talking to himself or talking to you as the player. And some of the things he says during these little internal monologues are really cringeworthy. Just, I found myself skipping an awful lot of the cutscenes because I just couldn't take the dialogue. The script writing was that bad. I thought I don't really need to know, just skip this cutscene and get to killing more Nazis. There are a couple of good characters. Fergus is a Scottish character that starts with you at the beginning. He's a pretty good character. And there's this Jewish Israeli scientist that you rescue quite early on in the game called Set. He's a pretty good character as well. He comes up with some good choice Hebrew or Yiddish swear words and little terms he says to you. He's quite a cool character. But generally the script, the writing and the characters are a bit poor. But the shooting is solid. It's that's what you're there for. You're getting what you want. So in general, it kind of tries to out Call of Duty in a lot of places, and in its spectacle and its over the top kind of set pieces. And in some places it succeeds. It goes way over the top. Some of the things that happen to you as the main character are absolutely crazy. Some of the things you survive and the way you survive them, absolutely mental. So it looked like it was going out of its way to do that, and yeah, it definitely did succeed in a lot of places. So in conclusion, a decent shooter, iffy dialogue, iffy script, and a little bit repetitive, but I played them both back to back. About 17 hours in total. Didn't quite finish the second one, but I think I saw everything I needed to see. If they're up cheap, like they were when I bought them, I'd say grab them just for some mindless Nazi shooting fun. Okay, that was Wolfenstein New Order and Wolfenstein II New Colossus. Thanks for watching. My kind of